Welcome, traveler. You have found your way to Bearbo Reads the Realms, a cozy corner of the world where stories come to life. I'm Bearbo, your storyteller and guide through the realms. Now please, settle in, rest your weary heart, and leave the world behind for a little while. The fire's warm, the tea's steeping, and a fine tale awaits us. Tonight, we begin our journey into the world of Pern, where dragons soar the skies, ancient dangers fall from the stars, and a young woman's courage may shape the fate of her people. So find your favorite spot, pull up a blanket, and let's slip into the skies of Pern together. Light for life. With a sudden golden movement, Rameth arched her great back. He sprang into the sky, wings wide. With unbelievable speed, she was airborne. After her, in the blink of an eye, 7 bronze shapes followed, their mighty wings churning buffets of sand-laden air into the faces of the watching werefolk. Her heart in her mouth at the prestigious flight, Lessa felt her soul lifting with Rameth. She, Rameth Lessa, was alive with limitless power, her wings beating effortlessly to the thin heights, elation surging through her frame. Elation and desire. Stay with her, Fëanor whispered gently. Stay with her. She must not escape your control now. Think with her. She cannot go between. Dragonflight, Volume 1 of the Dragonriders of Pern by McCaffrey. Introduction. When is a legend legend? Why is a myth a myth? How old and disused must a fact be for it to be relegated to the category fairy tale? And why do certain facts remain incontrovertible while others lose their validity to assume a shabby, unstable character? Rukbat, in the Sagittarian sector, was a golden G-type star. It had 5 planets, plus 1 stray it had attracted and held in recent millennia. Its 3rd planet was enveloped by air man could breathe, boasted water he could drink, and possessed a gravity which permitted man to walk confidently erect. Men discovered it, promptly colonized it, as they did every habitable planet they came to. And then, whether callously or through collapse of empire, the colonists never discovered and eventually forgot to ask, and left the colonies to fend for themselves. When men first settled on Rukbat's 3rd world and named it Pern, they had taken little notice of the stranger planet, swinging around its primary in a wildly erratic elliptical orbit. With a few generations, they had forgotten its existence. The desperate path the wanderer pursued brought it close to its stepsister every 200 Terran years at perihelion. When the aspects were harmonious and the conjunction with its sister planet close enough, as it often was, the indigenous life of the wanderer sought to bridge the space gap to the more temperate and hospitable planet. It was during the frantic struggle to combat this menace dropping through Pern's skies like silver threads that Pern's contact with the mother planet weakened and broke. Recollections of Earth receded further from the Pernies' history with each successful generation until memory of their origins degenerated past legend or myth into oblivion. To forestall the incursions of the dreadful threads, the Pernies, with the ingenuity of their forgotten Terran forebears, developed a highly specialized variety of a life form indigenous to their adopted planet. Such humans as had a high empathy rating and some innate telepathic ability were trained to use and preserve this unusual animal, whose ability to teleport was of great value in the fierce struggle to keep Pern bare of threads. The winged, tailed, and fiery-breathed dragons, named for Earth legends they resembled, their dragon men, a breed apart, and the menace they battled, created a whole new group of legends and myths. Once relieved of imminent danger, Pern settled into a more comfortable way of life. The descendants of heroes fell into disfavor, as the legends fell into disrepute. This, then, is a tale of legends disbelieved and their restoration. Yet how goes a legend? Where is a myth? Part 1. Weir Search. Drummer beat and piper blow, harper strike and soldier go. Free the flame and sear the grasses, till the dawning red star passes. Lessa woke, cold, cold with more than the chill of the everlastingly clammy stone walls. Cold with the prescience of a danger stronger than one 10 full turns ago that had sent her, whimpering with terror, to hide in the watchware's odorous lair. Rigid with concentration, Lessa lay in the straw of the redolent cheese room she shared as sleeping quarters with the other kitchen drudges. There was an urgency in the ominous portent unlike any other forewarning. She touched the awareness of the watchware, slithering on its rounds in the courtyard. It circled at the choke limit of its chain. It was restless, but oblivious to anything unusual in the pre-dawn darkness. Lessa curled into a tight knot of phones, hugging herself to ease the strain across her tense shoulders. Then, forcing herself to relax, muscle by muscle, joint by joint, she tried to feel what subtle menace it might be that could rouse her, yet not distress the sensitive watchware. The danger was definitely not within the walls of the Ruatha Hold, nor approaching the paved perimeter without the hold, where relentless grass had forced new growth through the ancient mortar, green witness to the deterioration of the once stone-clean hold. The danger was not advancing up the little-used causeway from the valley, nor lurking in the craftsman's stony holdings at the foot of the hold's cliff. It did not scent the wind that blew from Tillich's cold shores. But still it twanged sharply through her senses, vibrating every nerve in Lessa's slender frame. Fully roused, she sought to identify it before the prescient's moon dissolved. She cast outward, toward the past, farther than she had ever pressed. Whatever threatened was not in Ruatha yet, nor did it have a familiar flavor. It was not, then, facts. Lessa had been cautiously pleased that Fax had not shown himself at the Ruatha Hold in 3 full turns. The apathy of the craftsmen, the decaying farmholds, even the green-edged stones of the hold infuriated Fax, self-styled lord of the high reaches, to the point where he preferred to forget the reason he had subjugated the once proud and profitable hold. Relentlessly compelled to identify this oppressing menace, Lessa groped in the straw for her sandals. She rose, mechanically brushing straw from her matted hair, which she then twisted into a rude knot at her neck. She picked her way among the sleeping drudges, huddled together for warmth, and glided up the worn steps to the kitchen proper. The cook and his assistant lay on the long table before the great hearth, wide backs to the warmth of the banked fire, discordantly snoring. Lessa slipped across the cavernous kitchen to the stable-yard door. She opened the door just enough to permit her slight body to pass. The cobbles of the yard were icy through the thin soles of her sandals, and she shivered as the pre-dawn air penetrated her patched garment. The watchware slithered across the yard to greet her, pleading, as it always did, for release. Comfortingly, she fondled the creases of the sharp-tipped ears as it matched her stride. Glancing fondly down at the awesome head, she promised it a good rub presently. It crouched, groaning, at the end of its chain as she continued to the grooved steps that led the rampart over the hold's massive gate. Atop the tower, Lessa stared toward the east where the stony breasts of the pass rose in black relief against the gathering day. Indecisively, she swung to her left, for the sense of danger issued from that direction as well. She glanced upward, her eyes drawn to the red star that had recently begun to dominate the dawn sky. As she stared, the star radiated a final ruby pulsation before its magnificence was lost in the brightness of Pern's rising sun. Incoherent fragments of tales about ballads about the dawn appearance of the red star flashed through her mind, too quickly to make sense. Moreover, her instinct told her that though danger might come from the northeast too, there was greater peril to contend with from due east. Straining her eyes as if vision would bridge the gap between peril and person, she stared intently eastward. The watchwearer's thin, whistled question reached her just as the prescience waned. Lessa sighed. She had found no answer in the dawn, only discrepant portents. She must wait. The warning had come, and she had accepted it. She was used to waiting. Perversity, endurance, and guile were her other weapons, loaded with the inexhaustible patience of vengeful dedication. Dawnlight illumined the tumbled landscape, the unplowed fields in the valley below. Dawnlight fell on twisted orchards where the sparse herds of milch beasts hunted stray blades of spring grass. Grass in Ruatha, Lessa mused, grew where it should not, died where it should flourish. Lessa could hardly remember now how Ruatha had once looked, sweetly happy, amply productive. 4 facts came. An odd brooding smile curved lips unused to such exercise. Fax realized no profit from his conquest of Ruatha, nor would he while she, Lessa, lived, and he had not the slightest suspicion of the source of this undoing. Or had he, Lessa wondered, her mind still reverberating from the savage prescience of danger? West lay Fax's ancestral and only legitimate hold. Northeast lay little but bare and stony mountains and the weir that protected Pern. Lessa stretched, arching her back, inhaling the sweet, untainted wind of the morning. A cock crowed in the stable yard. Lessa whirled, her face alert, eyes darting around the outer hold lest she be observed in such an uncharacteristic pose. She unbound her hair, letting the rank mass fall about her face concealingly. Her body drooped into the sloppy posture she affected. Quickly she thudded down the stairs, crossing to the watchwear. It cried piteously, its great eyes blinking against the growing daylight. Oblivious to the stench of its rank breath, she hugged the scaly head to her, scratching its ears and irises. The watchwear was ecstatic with pleasure, its long body trembling, its clipped wings rustling. It alone knew who she was or cared, and it was the only creature in all of Pern she had trusted since the dawn she had blindly sought refuge in its dark, stinking lair to escape the thirsty swords that had drunk so deeply of Ruathan blood. Slowly she rose, cautioning it to remember to be as vicious to her as to all, should anyone be near. It promised to obey her, swaying back and forth to emphasize its reluctance. The first rays of the sun glanced over the hold's outer wall, and crying out, the watchwear darted into its dark nest. Lessa crept swiftly back to the kitchen and into the cheese room. Well, now, that's the end of this chapter, dear traveler. Tonight, we watched young Lessa's quiet defiance in the shadows of Ruatha Hold, and learned of how Lessa came to be where she is currently, wary of the unknown imminent dangers to herself and Pern. Thank you for resting here with me, and for sharing this piece of the realms. I hope you'll return soon, as there are many more skies to soar and secrets to uncover. Until then, keep your heart light, your tea warm, and your dreams full of adventure. I'll be waiting by the fire.